All right, I'm sitting here with Curtis from New Hampshire, who moved here from where?
North Carolina.
Okay.
Coastal North Carolina.
You've been here now for what, 18 months or?
About that. Porcfest 2011 will make 2 years. I moved during Porcfest 2009.
Okay. And what was this? Was there a trigger or a spur that made you move?
For me, it was setting goals for myself, like prerequisites in order to make the move, and then looking back at the 18 months that had lapsed since I set that goal and realizing that I'd made no progress, and it was kind of a realization that I can beat my head against the wall down here, or I can go beat my head against the wall up in New Hampshire where there's other people, and hopefully something better will come along.
So there was no progress in the political system or whatever down there?
It was no progress in my personal life.
I see.
Yeah, it wasn't, no progress as far as moving liberty forward in Wilmington, North Carolina was a given. But I just was having problems improving my own personal life, like, finding work. So going online, comparing the unemployment rates between North Carolina and New Hampshire was a big deal. It was, at the time, the national was maybe 10.5, North Carolina was like 12.5, and New Hampshire was like 6.5, and I was like, well, geez, let me go somewhere where there's less unemployment and where I want to be anyway. So it was just being fed up and not being able to reach my my goals prior to moving. So I didn't see any value in continuing to put off the move.
Now, of course, you're best known probably inside the movement as the person who, the only Free Stater, I think, charged with a felony for openly using drugs, or?
Let me see. I don't know if I can say I'm the only. I used to be able to say I was the first. I suppose I can still say I'm the first Free Stater who was charged with a felony for an act of civil disobedience.
Yeah. Because National Police alleged that you sold marijuana.
I dispensed. And the official definition of dispense does not include exchanging cash or compensation for it. I could just gift it to somebody and it's still dispensing. So yeah.
Right. So anyway, I think the fact that happened sort of answers one of the other questions of what type of activism you like civil disobedience. Right?
I am a fan of civil disobedience. I honestly didn't move up here to get involved in civil disobedience. I'm more of a fan of agorism and consciously leveraging the counter economy in order to deprive the state of funds and talent, and putting it to work in a more honest economy, which is the black market.
What would you say is going to be different at Porcupine Fest this year in terms of there was a lot of agorism last year and a lot of underground economy going on? It wasn't really underground.
No, there's going to be a lot more. It's only underground in the fact that we don't ask permission to do it or apply for permits or licenses or anything. There'll be about probably 4 times as much free marketeering as there was last year. Big and new for Porcfest 2011. Let's see. We're expanding our most popular event, the Soapbox Idol. We're expanding that to 4 days. There'll be 3 days of preliminary rounds to qualify for the main event on Saturday or Friday. It's Friday this year. All day Saturday, we'll be having a party in the picnic pavilion, the Free Keene Pavilion. Just non-stop bands and entertainment and nothing too serious or heavy, just a good time for everybody.
When are we going to have the Sex Pistols?
I don't know, when they want to do it for free. We can't afford anyone.
And I guess another question I would have, do you have any kind of message for folks who are still outside New Hampshire who have started looking at this as a place to move for more freedom?
I guess I'd ask them to do like I did and compare their situation where they are now and what the potential situation would be were they to make the move, and see if the barrier to moving isn't much smaller than they might have previously thought. And if they were like me and they're really just making no appreciable headway months on end, then maybe you should just bite the bullet and make the move. You might not have been able to do it the way you wanted to. But I'd be willing to bet they'd be happy they did it once they did do it. And it was the best move of my life.
What was the main thing that improved in your life when you got here?
It would probably have to be the people. The people in my life. All of a sudden I went to being went from being like marginalized among my friends and family for my fringe views to being surrounded by people who shared those views and and that stumbling block was removed to becoming friends with people. Before, if you didn't share the same views, you kind of had to reconcile that before you could start becoming someone's friend. And up here, you got a bunch of people, like 800, 900, 1,000 people who are just ready to be your friend because they already agree with you that the initiation of aggression is immoral, and we do not condone such.
All right. Well, Curtis, welcome home.
Thank you, Dave.